This is the Lectric XP Trike 2, an electric trike that's meant to get more people out there riding. In this review, I'll walk you through every component front to back, breaking it down so it's easy for you to understand. I'll talk about how to make the most of this electric trike because there are some beginner-friendly settings that will help you ease into it. Then I'll take you along on some first-person riding footage. I'll talk about how this bike handles, how the motor performs. Then I'll get into some third-person riding footage where I'll give you the pros and cons and really my perspective after nearly 3 years of reviewing electric trikes. But first, let's take a closer look. What you're looking at is the sequel to America's best-selling trike, the XP Trike. Now Lectric has packed it with some more features to make it easier to hop on and ride. And so I guess at this point, Lectric is not only the largest seller of e-bikes in North America, they're also the largest seller of electric trikes. What made the original so popular? Well, for one, they outfitted it quite well, but the second thing was undoubtedly the price. And as Lectric tends to do, they didn't change the price. It still starts at just $14.99, shipped to your door. If you're curious about the unboxing process, we have a video on that. Be sure to check it out. And before we dive into all the specs, I have one favor to ask of you. If you found any of our videos helpful, simply use our affiliate link down in the description or scan the QR code on your screen before you make your purchase. It's free and truly makes videos like this one possible. Thanks for your support. The XP Trike 2 is offered in 3 different colors, at least for this spec. Tempest Gray, that's what you see here. Also Glacier Blue and Stratus White. Let's talk sizing and weight capacity. Total payload capacity is 415 pounds. Max rider weight is 330 pounds. If you purchase the front rack, you can put 30 pounds up there, and you can put 75 pounds on the rear basket. Trikes are, perhaps unsurprisingly, heavy. This one weighing in at 91.5 pounds on our scale. It fits riders 4'10" up to 6'2". I'm 6 feet tall with a 32-inch inseam. And here are some other riders that I had try out the XP Trike with different heights. An important spec, especially since I view these as mobility devices, is the standover height. 13.5 inches right here. And by the way, this trike actually folds. We'll talk about that at the end of the walk around. Let's get into the components. For brakes, we have Star Union hydraulic disc brakes. Can't wait to show you the levers, but those are paired with 180mm rotors. And your rear hydraulic disc brake is right here, and there is a guard on it as well. The front wheel attaches with a through axle for increased strength, but also easy assembly. The tires are 20 by 2.5 inches wide. They also pre-install slime. That should help prevent a flat. There's also a nice reflective sidewall. Plastic fenders, front and rear. Unlike the original, the XP Trike 2 comes with a front suspension fork. They're calling it the Cloud 50. Preload adjustment on the left, lockout on the right. You get 50 millimeters of travel. The front light runs off the main battery, and I really like at least the option to have it flashing, otherwise you can have it solid on. The brake light can also flash. It also goes brighter when you pull the brakes. And we now have turn signals as well. You have Lectric's 4-bolt pattern on the head tube for mounting the front rack. Nice cable management. The handlebars are adjustable up and down. Be mindful that you can't go any higher than the max listed right here. To improve ergonomics, Lectric made this a straight stem, so the handlebars can be a little bit closer to you. You get BMX style handlebars. Those allow adjustment forward or back as well. You get ergonomic locking grips. On the right, a twist grip throttle. Ours came with a bell. And these levers are awesome from Star Union. You do have motor cutoffs, but since this bike doesn't have a kickstand because it has 3 wheels, you have parking brakes. And so right now it's in the unlocked position. Simply move it to locked and you simply pull, it ratchets, click, click, click. And for the rear brake, same thing. And when you're ready to ride, simply flip them to unlock and squeeze. And now I could ride. Underneath the display is a USB-C port for charging your device. To power the bike on, power button in the center. We have battery capacity in the top right-hand corner, speed front and center, pedal assist below that. Hitting the plus and minus button will adjust that. Eco, Tour, Sport, Sport Plus, and Turbo. Hitting the center button will give you different information while still displaying your current speed. We have average speed, trip time, trip distance, and odometer. Hit it again and you have cadence, motor power, amps, and volts. You can turn the lights on by holding pedal assist up, indicator on the top of your screen. You can engage walk mode by holding pedal assist down. Turn signals can be turned on with the left and right button. They do eventually turn off after about 20 seconds. Another hidden feature is the bike has hazard lights. Simply press the left and right turn signals at the same time. That's how it looks. Holding the power button and pedal assist up will give you the average mile per hour and max mile per hour located beneath the current speed. To get into the advanced settings, hold pedal assist up and down at the same time. First, we have screen brightness. You can set a sleep timer. You can change the units. You can change trip time from motion aware or elapsed time. There's tire size, leave that alone. Bike classification, class 1 or class 2. That will allow you to disable the throttle if you need to. And rider mode, this is a good one for beginner riders. I'll demonstrate in the upcoming first-person riding footage. Then throttle and PAS or pedal assist toggle. This is where you can turn the pedal assist or the throttle on or off. There's throttle output. This is another good one for beginner riders. You might want to limit the throttle based on pedal assist level, or if you're more confident, you can have full access to the throttle in all pedal assist levels. Next is throttle zero start. Do you want throttle from a standstill or not? There's different walk mode settings. Light operation, as I showed you, you can have it flash, which is a cool feature. And finally, you can reset the odometer. And that's it for the display. You get 3 mounting points on the down tube, 2 on the seat tube, perhaps for mounting the best water bottle cage on the market. It's fully adjustable for large water bottles like this one. Simply turn to secure. And so you could mount this here, or even here. Also a great spot for a folding lock. There's metal pedals. Ours came with the suspension C-post. You can see if that's currently included by checking the link down in the description. It offers some additional support. Speaking of support, this is Lectric's wide support seat, complete with the backrest. Yes, it's adjustable up and down. And you can adjust the seat position by sliding these rails forward or back. The battery is located behind the seat tube. To remove, insert the keys, turn to the right, and pull up. This is a 48 volt, 13 amp hour battery. It is certified to UL 2271. The entire bike's electronics are certified to UL 2849. There's a button on the battery to give you an idea of current capacity. By the way, that's how you wake up the battery as well, in case your bike won't turn on. And if you're looking for more protection, why not a battery bag? This is how I travel with all of our e-bike batteries. It's a roll top bag and you can clip it in place. And you have a nice handle. It is flame resistant and waterproof. Also available at shop.ebikeescape.com. Your purchase helps support the channel, so thank you. You get a 2 amp charger, so from empty, it will take 6.5 hours to charge the battery up to full. To put the battery back in, simply line it up on the tray and push down, and you're good to go. The motor is located right here, 500 watts of nominal power, 1,092 watts of peak power. It's engaged with a cadence sensor. More on that in the first-person riding footage. And in the rear here, you have a differential. What does that mean? Well, both of these wheels can spin independently. That makes it so much more stable than it otherwise would be. And for those curious, this is how the drivetrain looks in the rear when I hit the throttle. In the rear here, this is where you can mount the large basket for additional storage. The rear wheels have reflectors. This is the single-speed drivetrain with a tensioner here. And this is the main folding point. Simply slide and open. On the bottom of the bike, you do have a stand where the bike can rest. Next, let's talk about folding. Yes, if you fold this, you might be able to put it in your SUV. Just a note that it doesn't really sit nicely with the front wheel attached. And so what you might want to do is remove the front wheel, and then it sits better and actually sits on that rest. So just know that while it does fold and get into a smaller form factor, it still can be difficult to manage. With that, let's get into some first-person riding footage. All right, we have a lot to talk about. Beginner versus standard mode, the cadence sensor, the single-speed drivetrain, cruise control. Yes, this bike has cruise control. I want to talk about the throttle experience, handling, comfort. We'll take it up our hill climb test. So let's get started, and I do have it in beginner mode, which means the top speed will be 12 miles per hour. Even if you're not a beginner, I think this is probably the setting that most people should leave. You can let me know if you disagree in the comment section, but 12 miles per hour is plenty fast on this bike. Remember, an electric trike is really a mobility device. If you can't ride a two-wheeled e-bike, this is what I would recommend. The other setting that I recommend is having the throttle tied to the pedal assist level, at least to start. This is the start of our throttle only testing. So in Eco, I'll use the throttle, and what I love is it's just a little bit of power. Like I'm barely moving 3 miles an hour. Again, this just makes it so much more accessible, creeping up to 5 miles an hour. And as I go further up in pedal assist levels, we're going to go a little bit faster. So let's go into Tour. Not any difference there. Let's go into Sport. All right, feeling a little bit more power there. 8 miles an hour, 9, 10. And will we hit the top speed? Looks like we're going to be just shy of 12 miles per hour. Let's go into Sport Plus. So even if you're not in the highest pedal assist level, you can still hit 12 miles per hour, the top speed in beginner mode. And yeah, you can probably use turbo and just get up to speed faster. All right, I changed it to standard, and in Eco, looks like we're getting a little bit more power, getting up to 8 miles an hour. So beginner mode, as it's intended to be, is certainly more accessible. All right, for those who are very confident on electric trikes, I'll start in turbo here, throttle only up to 14 miles per hour. 3, 2, 1, throttle only. All right, and we are going to get there pretty fast here. There's 14 miles an hour. And it is holding us there very easily. We'll see how it does up our hill climb test. Now, this is the thing. When you are on an electric trike, traveling at high speeds, turning can just be treacherous if you're trying to turn at a high speed. So I recommend slowing down, take those turns nice and easy. You won't risk one of the rear wheels coming up. And that's why I really call these mobility devices. They don't go as fast as regular e-bikes, and that's by design. Now, one of the cool things about electric trikes is they're so maneuverable. You can pretty much have your inner tire staying in the same place and your outer tire just moving around it. So you can take really sharp turns. Just be careful. And the other thing to keep in mind is that when you are on an uneven surface, if it's slanted, you kind of need to counterbalance it a little bit. Otherwise, as you can imagine, because you have two wheels in the back, it kind of wants to throw you whatever the way you're angled. So counterbalancing it makes it safer to ride. All right, we are going to go back into beginner mode. Again, I think slower speeds is where it's at on these trikes. And I'll talk you through how it feels while pedaling. Now, this is a single speed drivetrain, and the motor is engaged with a cadence sensor. What does that mean? Well, as long as you're spinning your legs, you are going to get power from the motor, of course, depending on the pedal assist level you're in. So on an electric trike, that just makes it easy to make sure you're getting motor power. Again, keeping with the accessibility piece. So this being a single speed drivetrain, they need to pick a gear ratio. And you don't really want it geared so it's so easy to start pedaling because you're inherently going to start ghost pedaling, basically moving your pedals without being able to provide any effort of your own. So it's a balancing act. So we'll talk through that. I will say on this trike, for some people, it's going to be difficult to start that first pedal stroke to engage the cadence sensor. Now that's just going to depend on each person, but what is nice is you have the throttle to get started. And so you can give yourself a little bit of throttle and pedal alongside it. We are in Eco, definitely a slower cadence here at about 6 miles an hour. I would say some effort, but not putting too much effort in. Let's go up into Tour, maybe a slight boost here, 6 miles an hour, going up to Sport. All right, there's a big jump between Tour and Sport. For a lot of people, I think Eco and Tour is going to be where it's at, because already in Sport, we're at 12 miles an hour, which again is the maximum speed. Here's a look at my legs at 10 miles an hour, 11. And while I can provide effort, it is a faster cadence, which is why I prefer the lower pedal assist levels. All right, and here's how fast I need to be spinning my legs in order to provide effort at 14 miles per hour. Definitely faster than most people are going to want to do. Let's show standard off quickly. So starting in Eco again, started pedaling to get going that time. 8 miles an hour in Eco, 9. All right, let's go into Tour. So my preference is beginner, Eco, or Tour, because in Tour, in standard, already hitting 12 miles an hour. So you certainly are getting more power. There's 13. And going into Sport, probably we hit 14 miles per hour, and that is going to be the maximum speed. Let's do it in Turbo quickly from a stop. All right, there we go. This motor has tons of power, and it is just ramping us up very quickly to 14 miles an hour. All right, let's test out these brakes at the fire hydrant. All right, no problem with stopping power. Really like these Star Union brakes they put on here. All right, next we have cruise control. And this is a feature that some people might want to consider using because it can hold you at a certain speed. Maybe you have a preferred speed where you really like the cadence, but there is something to keep in mind. To show it off, I'm going to go into Turbo, and I do have full access to the throttle and all pedal assist levels. You'll understand why in a second. But using the throttle at around 6 miles an hour, and I'm going to hold pedal assist down, and there's a little indicator at the top of the screen that looks like a cruise control icon, much like found in your car. And it can hold me at 5 miles an hour. Now, I'm not pedaling at all, but if I did start to pedal, I am in Turbo, it is going to give me more speed, more power. But then when I get back down to the 5 or 6 mile per hour speed, the motor will kick back on. So that might not be a desired experience, which is why you might want to have full access to the throttle in all pedal assist levels. And so in Eco, I can get past the 5 or 6 mile per hour range that is normally the limit when you have throttle that coincides with the pedal assist level, and go at, say, 8 miles an hour, hold pedal assist down. All right, cruise control engaged, and this is where I can just pedal, and I'm not going to get a ton of power from the motor. It's just going to hold me at whatever speed I have set, around 9 miles an hour. If I stop pedaling, the motor is going to kick back on once I drop below the speed, and I can start pedaling again if I want to. So cruise control, if used correctly, is a cool feature, and of course hitting the brakes does disable it. All right, let's talk comfort. Now, I love the BMX style handlebars. Tons of room for accessories, even here on the left side, the best cell phone mount on the market, available at shop.ebikeescape.com. I have them slightly raised so my hands don't have a lot of pressure on them. The grips are nice, ergonomic grips. Now, the seat is certainly wider than most. I found that I needed to lower the seat a little bit more than I otherwise would on a regular two-wheeled e-bike for pedaling to be a little bit more comfortable. I kind of found that the bottom of my leg contacts the seat. Now, they wanted to make this comfortable, and I realize it's going to be personal preference, but I find myself wanting to scoot a little bit towards the nose so then my legs aren't rubbing. And then, yes, it's nice to have the support seat, though it's just going to depend on your body whether you actually make contact with the support seat, the backrest that is. And if you don't like this seat, you can pick a different one up that suits you better. All right, let's get into our hill climb test. We are going to tackle this hill at 14 miles per hour and see what the minimum speed is. The hill looks so much smaller on the GoPro, so we'll put up a picture as well as the specs of the hill. We are currently at 80% battery. And it looks like we are just going to have to take the middle of the road here. All right, got my turn signal on. Hill is starting now. 13. Lectric's display reading slightly less at 12.6. GPS holding at 13 miles an hour. Is it going to falter at all below 13? And remember, this thing is so heavy. And the speed is now climbing, both on the display and the GPS. All right, suffice to say that this electric trike is capable. Note that I am a lighter weight rider at around 150 or so pounds. And yes, of course, you can pedal alongside this, and that will only save battery. As long as your legs are spinning, you're going to be able to get power from the motor. And of course, you can always use a little bit of throttle if you need it. All right, with that, let's get into some third-person riding footage. I'll give you the pros and cons on the XP Trike 2. So does Lectric have a repeat bestseller on their hands with the new XP Trike 2? In a lot of ways, yes, but I have some thoughts on what I'd tweak to make it my dream electric trike. So first off, what's great here is the accessible price point of $1,500 while not making many compromises. Buyers should feel confident that Lectric, the brand, isn't going anywhere. They've got a solid reputation with hundreds of thousands of e-bikes and e-trikes sold. Now the 500 watt motor might not sound like a lot, but it does peak at 1092 watts and offers plenty of power, more than many people probably need. More on the power delivery in a bit, but even uphill, it's plenty. Since this is more of a mobility solution, there's less concern about battery size and range. A majority of rides are likely to be short and at slow speeds. Riders should expect up to 50 miles on eco mode with the 13 amp hour battery. Of course, much less if you're just using the throttle, and yes, it's a twist grip throttle, my preference. The front suspension is a welcome addition when you encounter bumps, and I think everyone is going to love the new easy to use display. There are some advanced settings in there that you'll definitely want to check out. Accessibility wise, the low standover height of 13.5 inches means it's easy to get your leg over. The new hydraulic disc brakes perform great, and I'm really loving the new parking brakes. They're just so much more user-friendly. Now, I'll admit, we poked some fun at Lectric's 1-minute assembly claim, and it seems like they've updated their website since. I will commend Lectric for their easy assembly to get rolling. Attach the front wheel with the through axle, throw on the quick release seat post and handlebars, and you truly are ready to ride. It really does take about a minute. Add another 10 to 15 minutes to attach the rear fenders, as well as the front fender that has the front light on it, and you're ready to go. A bonus would have been if the fenders came pre-installed, making the complete assembly toolless. I spent a lot of time playing around with the different pedal assist modes, as well as beginner and standard mode. I'd personally like to see it even more toned down in beginner mode. I'm talking max speeds of 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11 miles per hour to coincide with the pedal assist levels, Eco, Tour, Sport, Sport Plus, and Turbo. As it stands, I think many people will stay in beginner mode in Eco or Tour. That's really the sweet spot. Maybe venturing into Sport. Of course, the exception here is going to be if you're going up hills. This being a single-speed drivetrain, the closer you get to the max speed, the harder it is to provide human power. Though I imagine for some, it's just about getting the legs moving, and that's fine too. Those who already own an XP Trike, let me know in the comments section your thoughts on this. Next, there's no reverse. That's not really a knock since I'm not aware of any rear motor trikes that have this, but some front motor trikes do, so if that's important to you. For some context, I prefer the increased traction you get on a rear motor trike like the XP Trike 2. I realize there are always trade-offs, and adding the front suspension complicated the folding just a bit, but just know that the trike only folds nicely when you remove the front wheel, so be mindful when folding and storing the trike. If any of our content has helped you with your Lectric purchase, do me one quick favor and use our link in the description before you buy or scan the QR code on your screen. It's free and directly supports eBike Escape. Thank you so much for your support. I don't think Lectric had to do much here to keep their reign as the best-selling electric trike, but there are some nice creature comfort updates. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. What would make this more accessible, and what's your use case if you're considering the XP Trike 2? Thank you so much for watching until the end, and I will see you in the next one.